Okay. So now that we have this document here, we're going to say, please write a first build.md with that info for my devs to use. Include, can't type today, a roadmap for the dev process. And then do not make changes. Now, I tell it to write it for devs because AI does not know it's the developer. If you go back and ask it who built this app, once like you open a new chat and ask it who built this app, it will have no idea. It does not know that it's doing the work. So you just have it write it for your devs, and then your dev, who can be the AI, come right back in and work on it later on. Additionally, because it tells us all of these things are built, you could go through and test each piece that it said was built and see where you run into issues, which is kind of what we're going to do here as we go through and create a user and test the bot. That's going to be the flow that we use. Let's take a look at what it wrote. It's going to finish this out. And this is the file it created. So this is a markdown file. When I say .md, that's a markdown file. It's giving us the outline of what it built. So we can reference that. Here's the placeholder implementation. Okay. Database says the tables don't exist. It didn't do a migration properly, it appears, which is probably why we ran into that error. I think that's roughly what it said over here. Yeah, users does not exist. So that's why we ran into that error up here. And we haven't done any security hardening. That's okay right now. We're just getting testing. This is not publicly available. Okay. So let's see if it actually made the database migrations. And we're going to run this command. And we're going to see if it can actually put everything into the database. It does not look like that's functional. It's attempting to install PG Vector and is failing there. We are going to go over here and get our database set up. Always the rule. We've done our first build. Now we need to do a task. Never do the next task in the same chat. Always new task, new chat, every time. So this initial build cost us $3.05 for our first setup here. Let's go over and do a new chat. I ran this and it gave this error. So you need to be specific about what you're working on. We're going to copy the error that we received. And then we are going to say, please review and tell me why. And then we're going to say, do not make changes. We wanted to look through the code first and get an idea of what actually happened here. My guess is, and I've run into this before, sometimes the way the migration is written, it won't install PG Vector correctly here in Neon. Okay. So this is on Neon. Okay. Let's see if we can get it to do the install. It sometimes struggles here. And if it struggles too hard, we'll just pull it down locally and finish it there. Please do this and give us some context. This is a Neon B and the URL is in our secrets. Now, we have the database here. Inside Replit, you have secrets. And here is the database URL. Whenever it creates one, it always puts one in there for us. So we can always reference that. Let's run it. Let it see if it can do the installation or not. If it can't, we will move it down. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get this build linked up to GitHub so we can do other stuff with it. So we're going to go over here to a tab, open Git. There's nothing here. So we're going to go into our settings view And we are going to name this. And what's the date today? It is 8/20. Create this. Oh, it wants me to have dashes. Okay. I have dashes. There we go. And you get this little bitty green toast message down here that says created repository on GitHub. And then it never appears here as though it's actually created. It just looks like you could create it again, which is unhelpful, but that's just how Replit works. We will confirm GitHub here. And now our branch can be pushed. And what this allows us to do is later on pull it down to our computer and work on it locally, do more advanced stuff. Okay. So let's see, did it run db push? It did. So this is the command we were running earlier. It can run those for us, and it did that for us here after it enabled PG vector for us. Okay. So now that that is in place, let's go ahead and try our registration again. And we will do another login attempt. There we go. I want to make sure we can log in with whatever I create. So we're creating an account and we have that. Now this is our next little thing. It doesn't look like it did all of its imports in the right order. So this error, we're going to copy it. It probably also showed up in the console. That doesn't appear that it actually did. So we can now log in, which means we fixed our user creation issue that we encountered. Once again, the rule is new topic, new chat. So we're going to go right over here and say, I logged in and went to page. We're going to copy that over this page over in just a second. It looks like the root. It's just the root. Page and see this error. Now we could go here and possibly see if there's other errors in the console. So I right click, go inspect, and console. We definitely have some errors here, which are pretty much the same one, but it gives us more details. We'll say, here is the console log, and paste that in. And then we'll say, please review. Do not make changes. Let it load in the context here of what we are doing. Okay, while that's running, let's take a look around. So here's our create bot. Here's where conversations will be listed if they exist. This is a little checkpoint that it creates for us so we can roll back if it makes a change we don't like. Right here, it's reading the files. Okay. So here I told it to do not make changes and it's making the change anyway. That is somewhat common with the newest AI models inside Replit. So just watch it close and make sure you know that it made a change, test the change. And if not, use this rollback. If you don't like it, use this rollback and go back. Don't try to keep building upon a change that doesn't work. It might have gotten it correct here, but let's just reload and see. So it didn't create a conversations page. That's okay. I think that was in our list of pages it said it didn't make. Let's see if there's anything here in training data. Okay. And anything in settings. Nothing there either. Let's see if that aligns with our first build. Okay. So we did this piece. Did this. This we did during the build. Looks like it really just built a front end and that's it. Let's take a look and see what this is capable of here. We'll do test bot 1. Let's give it a chat bubble as an icon. This bot answers questions. And here's our branding colors. We'll leave those as default for now. I wonder, let's just try to change one though and see it now that I think about it. See if it actually saves it. We're going to give it. So this is interesting. It's letting me put in one URL at a time. I think I would rather have it crawl based on a depth. So give it like a source URL and say, go 3 deep and 50 URLs wide or something like that. That would be a change I want to put in, but we'll test it here just to see. Give it, I don't know, this URL. Why not? Let's see if I can crawl that. And here's where we'd set up our system prompt. We could give it custom instructions on how to behave. We'll leave that as default right now. And then this is our lead generation feature. So if we go back to what I gave it as instructions, I wanted a lead gen mode. Basically, what the lead generation mode would be is the ability to collect name and email and phone before they can continue the chat, which is a level of friction, but can also be a thing that allows your business to get people's contact information in exchange for offering the bot as a service. But I wanted to make it something you could turn on or off. So that's what we have sketched out there. That's where that behavior came from. And then these are those contact elements that I mentioned down here. Admin can set contact buttons in the bot so that people can contact the company if they don't want to talk with the bot. So that's what we have there. Create this chatbot, see if it saves. Doesn't appear that it saves. See if there's a new console error. Nothing here. Let's take a look and see if there's an error here. And nothing there. Okay, so we go to save a bot, it's not saving. I think at this point, because of all the pieces we want to add into the bot, this is where I would pull the bot down locally and start using a more advanced AI on the rest of the build. We are going to go here. These are the changes we just made here. So we're going to sync those changes up to GitHub. And then we're going to pull them down locally using GitHub Desktop. Now, if you don't have it, you can get GitHub Desktop here. This. And it doesn't cost anything. And you can get a GitHub account as well at github.com, which doesn't cost you anything either. It allows you to have these repositories for your code. And then we are going to use that to pull down the repository. We have GitHub Desktop here. I'm going to get this Smart Help. I've searched for it in my repositories, and I'm going to clone that locally right here. And it's going to pull it down for me and have the repository here. So we're going to fetch it to my computer, and this is going to download all the files that we just created to my computer. So I can use those. So those are fetched. And let's get GitHub back out of there. And now we're going to open Visual Studio Code or VS Code. I'm going to be chuckling about that forever now, Tony. Thank you. Today, we are going to use Kilo Code for this. So that is here. It plugs into Visual Studio. Just use this installer here to do it. And it allows us to have all of the AI coding features that we need right inside Visual Studio Code. Okay, so we're going to go back over here. I have Kilo Code open. I'm going to say I want to open that GitHub repository. So I'm going to open a folder. We're going to go to GitHub and we're going to grab Smart Help and open it. That's the files that I saved on my computer. And if we take a look here, we go into the files. Here's those files and they match what are over here. Some of these are opened up because I clicked on them. If we collapse that down, that matches here. Now when you pull these down, there is a file that is missing. And it is all of our secrets. Because you don't want to send the secrets to GitHub. And you don't want to have somebody like access your repository and get those. So those are saved locally on your environment. So like these secrets don't get pushed to GitHub. When we're developing locally, we have to bring those down here. So we're going to right click and give it a new file. And we're going to name it .env. Okay. And that's going to be there. And that's our environment file. And then the next thing we're going to do is go to git ignore. And this tells us what files should not go to GitHub. And we are going to put in env like this and save that. And now we'll see that this file turns gray and no longer shows up in our Git commits here. So it's not going to be pushed up to GitHub here when we resync our information. We're going to leave this in ask mode. There's several modes here in KiloCode. I'm going to start in ask mode. I have Claude Code connected. You can choose your AI here. You can create a configuration profile and choose the AI provider. I have Claude Code connected right now. KiloCode has their own. So when you get started, that's just a good place to start. Comes with it. You can just pay them for the credits. So we'll save that there. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, please like and follow. And if you need help building or finishing your app, click the link in my bio to book a one-on-one Zoom call to take a look at your project.